Joining me now is Kyle Wilkinson, a designer who works across lots of different disciplines, including typography, illustration, and even furniture design. So, hi Kyle.
Hello.
Welcome to Adobe Stock Remix Live. And looking at your portfolio, it seems like you're interested in pretty much everything. You've certainly got your talents in different areas. So what would you say you're interested in exploring in your work? What are your interests and how do you go about your process?
I'm a big believer in our skills as creatives are transferable across many different mediums. So one of my biggest inspirations is Thomas Ellerwick. He designed things from bags to buses to buildings. Nothing stops that guy. So, and he's not trained in designing buses. So the skills are transferable. So I like to dabble with anything I can get my hands on.
Excellent. And one of your clients has said that working with you is like stepping into a sorcerer's cave. It's like an exotic, thrilling, completely mystifying experience. It's all good though, because you said that you always end up creating something magical, right? And I can tell by your portfolio. So can you demystify things a bit about your approach?
Yeah, I nearly came dressed as a wizard, but I thought I'd give it a miss. I like to invent processes, and that's what Mark at Computer Arts were referring to when he made that comment. So I like to create new processes. For example, with Computer Arts, I shot their front cover with double cream submerged underwater. So I like to back myself into a corner, have no idea what I'm doing, and that's when the magic happens, when you have to use your creativity to get out of the situation.
Yeah, sure. So I said earlier that this challenge is inspired by creative reality and the collection on Adobe Stock. So Kyle, what's your take on the creative reality theme?
So it's a really cool theme for starters. I wanted to tackle it in a slightly different manner. A lot of the examples out there right now are very psychedelic, very colourful, and I wanted to try and strip it back and create the same vibe with a black and white colour palette with just a splash of colour as well, just to see if we could create that same juxtaposition between.
Which is quite similar to your portfolio. You've got monochromatic images.
Yeah, that's kind of, I suppose, a little bit of a signature. I use things stripped back rather than lots of colour.
So less is more, I guess, yeah? Yeah. Cool, excellent, okay. So I think we're ready to see what you've got for us in store. So let's step into the sorcerer's cave and take it away, Kyle.
All right, mate. So, starting off with this image here, which we've got from the Adobe Stock library. Starts out like this. So quickly using the magic wand to mask things off. I want to work on a black background.
I was going to say it looks almost 3D. I thought.
Yeah. Well, I found this image on Adobe Stock, and I thought this is perfect for a base to build off, because I want to build this entire image. We've seen from the other guys how we can fit Adobe Stock into the workflows, but I want to show how we can create new images purely just with Adobe Stock. So I wanted to use this image to use as a platform to build upon. Particularly went for this because it's already feeling quite futuristic, the glossy effect, and I really wanted to juxtaposition it with something that's more natural and completely different in texture. So using this feather.
Okay. Just add some levels there. Okay.
So just start to then.
So you've used the light and layer blender?
Yeah, using blending modes. I think when you carefully consider the images that you're going to use, I think it makes your life a lot easier, rather than just downloading random stuff. And, really considering how you're going to use these things. We can see how we can start to build this image.
Okay. Lovely. Is this quite typical of your workflow? I mean, do you use a lot of stock normally, or do you start with pencil and paper?
Yeah.
I noticed on your portfolio you've got some shots of you in a studio doing.
Yeah, I do a lot of shoots for clients. If we've got the budget, we will use a full studio setup and shoot the work. So, for example, shooting cream underwater to create the effect that we were trying to achieve. But then if we haven't got the budget, which that's not the end of the world, we can go to Adobe Stock and find images that we can start to use to build these things. Right. And I think it's a really versatile tool because there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Definitely. And you had an agency, didn't you?
Yes, I had an agency for 7 years.
How was that as an experience for you?
Brilliant, absolutely loved it. We grew it to a team of 10, and they're still some of the closest friends that I've got right now. Working with those guys were just brilliant for all them years. But you know, it was time to move on to kind of.
I was going to say, because usually freelancers go from freelance to working in a team maybe or a studio, but you went the other way almost.
I did, yeah. I found myself doing jobs that weren't necessarily.
You weren't being the creative that you are, were you?
Exactly. So
it's the admin, it's the phone calls, the marketing.
It's the invoicing.
The
rest of
the business stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I enjoyed it, and I fell very naturally into that kind of role, but it's just, it was time for a different challenge. One time, you know, in future, I'll probably revisit it. Yeah. But it's certainly an interesting ride.
Cool.
So we can see that we're starting to build a bit of an image.
Quite a few layers going on there.
Yeah. Well, this just shows how, again, going back to carefully considering how you choose your images, is how you can then create these things to build upon. So we've got a platform. So we can, this is just 2 images so far. And we're starting to create that creative reality vibe in a monochromatic way.
Sure. You must get a lot of DMs from potential creatives who want to know how you do what you do. I've looked at your work and I often can't work out how you got to that end result.
I'm so glad you've said that, because that's the biggest thing when setting up with a project. I want people to guess how I've made it. One of the most painful projects I did were I projected something onto my own eyeball and photographed that. So I projected a message for an editorial spread.
Right.
And everybody thought it was 3D. Everybody thought I'd faked it, but no, I'd shot it in a studio on my own eye.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know when someone's work is good when you scroll down their Instagram and then you stop, go back to the top, scroll down again slower, stop.
Oh, you're too kind.
Back to the top and scroll down again even slower.
You're too kind.
And I've got my beard like this. I wonder how he did that. That's what I was doing with your work, so it's great stuff.
Just wish I could grow a beard.
Yeah? Yeah. It's time for the sorcerer to mature, like the Grand Wizard. Okay.
Lovely. So I think what we want to do is get some texture into some of these, because whilst the glossy spheres are lovely, I want to add some texture in there just to add a little bit more depth.
Sure.
So we can do that by simply getting a texture just like this marble one from the stock library. And just masking that again.
So you're going to add it to all of them, or just that one?
Just a couple. Just a couple. I think, I don't think we need to go crazy.
Right, I was going to say, make it look like it's part of the...
Yeah, so we can start to use some of Photoshop's tools now. So just adding a bit of distortion to this, if we add it to the right thing. Yeah.
Cool.
We can get those textures just to follow the contours of the spheres.
Yep.
We can start to bring this to life. Again, just big believer in doing everything with masks, because it's just not destructive.
Yeah, you're just like me. Yeah.
It just means that you can go back and change it when you think, oh no, I'll do it different.
I sometimes go on YouTube and I see traditional artists use Photoshop. And they actually don't use masks, a lot of them at all. They use it as if it's a canvas.
Wow. Yeah.
There's no going back. So that's,
wow.
Yeah,
I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
So, well, we can actually just duplicate that and reuse this.
You just place that on,
We can just...
Okay. So how would you describe the image so far?
It's coming together nicely.
Yeah.
It's going well. No, I think we're starting to get that juxtaposition between a more futuristic, high glossy texture that you'd see in maybe sci-fi kind of environment, with that very natural bird's kind of nest, bird's feathers, and that's kind of what I'm wanting to create here, is some sort of psychedelic, surreal bird's nest, insect nest thing. So it's just trying to create something otherworldly.
It almost looks like it's going to be part of a font or something that, how you just create like the tip of the F or something.
Yeah, I considered, I really wanted to do the whole thing, but I wanted to show something that we could like build it into a letter, but I think that would have took
time, yeah.
So that was the plan. But we can see just how quickly we can start to bring something like this to life.
Yeah, sure.
So we've got a bit of white.
Do you like to group everything together and use groups and smart objects as well? Or?
Normally, yeah. Working at this pace is
yeah, of course, yeah.
testing.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of vector work as well in Illustrator?
Yeah, mainly the type stuff. Cool. So a lot of my work can be type-led as well. I get hired to do a lot of custom typefaces for brands.
So do you sell your typefaces as well on the side?
No, I've never done one for myself. I've always done them for clients and brands wanting to kind of have something more bespoke or tailored for an advertising campaign or part of their brand. So I've not done one for commercial.
And do you do that in Illustrator, or do you use other software?
Pretty much the majority of it's done in Illustrator, and then take it into like a font software just to export it into, into a working font.
Sure. But
I've done a hell of a lot with Illustrator and Adobe's software, like the furniture you mentioned. That were designed all in Illustrator, which is not something that is overly used to do, I would have thought. But,
right.
You can start to see how this thing's going to come together.
Yeah, it's got a bit more perspective now with those small balls in the front, yeah. It looks like you've gone into Dimension or Cinema 4D and just mocked up a 3D model. I do a lot of 3D work, you see, so that's what I see when I see that.
It's something that I want to do a lot. Well, I want to learn. I've never done it, and that's what I find. It's great when people say, "Oh, you must have done that in 3D" when it's a photograph or like the eyeball thing or anything like that. Yeah. It's great to do things traditionally, analog kind of method, but I think the potential with 3D it's incredible. So I think I'm going to have a look at that Dimensions another play.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
You're going to add some adjustment layers to that on top, or are you going to leave it as is?
So probably do that at the end. Yeah, just want to add a little bit of light, just selective little highlights, just to hide some of the shadows that kind of don't work. Okay. I can just starts to give it that little bit of a pop.
So somebody on social media is asking, how long did it take you to become this efficient in Photoshop?
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I've always been pretty decent at kind of my workflow. Yeah. But yeah, it takes a good few years to start.
And when did you get started in the creative industry?
When I was 21. And you're going to ask me how old I am now.
Yeah, and do the maths, yeah?
I'm the big 3-0.
Big 3-0? Yeah, you're still young, you've got time.
Oh, again, you're too kind.
Okay.
So starting to bring this. So I want to kind of bring another element into this just to make it feel, link it to the real world as such, but I still want it to feel quite surreal and add a little pop of colour, as I mentioned, so we can't just keep it all white.
Okay.
So I'm going to get this guy. Lovely looking couple.
Lovely.
So, but we don't need this guy.
You just taking the one image, or are you having both of them?
I'm just going to have the one.
All right.
Split them up. So again, rather than taking a lengthy approach to clipping this guy out, we can just use a quick mask.
There you go.
And then we can go in and edit this however we need to then. So we can just use our brush.
Okay. Yep.
To quickly just...
Someone's asking online, how do you stay inspired?
How do I stay inspired?
What keeps you flowing, yeah?
That's a tough one. I think you can take an inspiration. It's difficult to say pinpoint one particular thing, but looking for inspiration in anything is the key, really. And that's getting out into the world and going and looking up. We're too fixated on walking down and looking at phones and whatnot, and it's, get out there.
Yeah.
Look around the world.
Look at the world, the natural world around us, right?
Look at the little things. It can be anything. And it could be a leaf.
Yeah, sure.
It could be, a texture in the road. It could be anything. Anything at all.
Sure.
So just neaten that edge up, and then we'll take these. And you can see, using the wand tool, we've got a pretty neat clip on that.
Looks good from here anyway.
And then, so we can kind of try and envisage this little guy building his home for his future. I'm saying him.
All right. Yeah, more like a hare, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of position this. Zoom right in here so we can...
Is there a need for any shadow on that, or is it not?
I think so, yeah. I think we need some.
Do you work on an iMac at home, do you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and...
Big 27-inch?
Big 27-inch and a big, whatever the massive Cintiq is as well. Yeah.
Oh, you got a Cintiq as well?
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. With that being said, have you tried the new Microsoft Surface?
I've not, and I really want to. I know you have.
Yeah, you've seen, I have.
Playing with it.
I have to say, I was impressed.
Yeah.
And I was tempted. First time I've actually been tempted to cross over.
The dark side.
Yeah, to the dark side, but no, great piece of hardware. It's not a usual, typical PC price hardware, but it's like putting a Cintiq and an iMac together.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It looks really, really cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Start to get a little bit of...
Is that the shadow, is it, yeah?
Yeah, we can just get a little bit of shading on these legs. And
cool.
Bring these brushes down.
Lovely, just brush it in, eh?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm surprised I'm managing this with a mouse.
Yeah? Oh, so you're not a mouse man, are you? You like me, are you?
Oh, no. I'll be using my Cintiq, but I left my stylus at home.
There you go. Okay. Nice, looking good. Looking good.
So start to build that up. But we can see that just adding that little element in there and that pop of colour just starts to bring it to life.
I like the way you've just blended that circle out. But it actually looks like it's curved more.
Yeah, it just gives it a bit more depth.
Yeah. Nice technique.
Just plays with the light.
Yeah.
But I actually want to change this.
Okay. Okay, a bit less saturation there.
Yeah, just taking it down that little bit. We've got some blues going on in the piece in the white itself.
Right.
We've got an adjustment layer, which we need to, the colour blend, so we just need to take that to the top. And then we can just start to kind of play with how we can position more of these.
Sure.
To add that little bit more depth. And I really wanted to, when interpreting this brief, we were thinking about the Photoshop kind of tagline, which is reimagine reality. So I like to introduce type into a lot of my work because I do a lot of type work.
Yep, of course.
So I drew out some type using Illustrator.
Yep.
So we can start to see how these type of images, you can bring this into Adobe, from Adobe Stock, and build images like this, and you can start to see how this could be used in advertising and other applications.
Sure. See, you're a heavy shortcut man like me.
Yeah.
I often forget where the menus are sometimes when I'm showing people. Did you ever find that? You don't know where it is in the menus?
Where's that hidden?
Yeah.
Half an hour, and then just think, I'll just use shortcut.
Yeah. It's coming on nicely. Looks like a billboard advert almost.
That's what you want to just kind of showcase that you can do these type of images with. You can do them in 3D. You can do them in other packages.
Sure.
This is one way you can do it as well. So we could just start to tidy this up.
Okay, looking good, looking good.
I think we're not far off, really.
So the background stays black and the butterfly just blends in nicely?
We're staying black with the background. I think it's just a case of adding a little bit of highlight. Definitely going to stay with the black. I feel like the black and white is what really makes it quite punchy, and then just that pop of colour.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're just about there.
Looking good.
So in the true Blue Peter moment, here's what I prepared earlier. So yeah.
And there we have it. There we have it. The butterfly looks great, by the way, what you've done to the colours there.
Yeah, just trying to kind of bring out the highlights and just the little bits of...
You've made it almost look surreal, like it's not real, but it's could be a CGI. That's fantastic.
That's exactly the look that will go for.
There you go. So there you have it. You've created an amazing remix here. You've turned the image into something completely new. So thank you again, Kyle, for some amazing editing tips. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Excellent. So I'm just gonna see if we have any more questions. So thanks to everybody that sent anything in on the social media. Let's just have a look and see what we have. So somebody's asking, how can I become a stock contributor? Well, it's quite simple. You just sign up as a contributor on the Adobe Stock website using your ID. And once you've done that, you can start uploading the assets you want to contribute. So there you have it, guys. And if you've been watching these guys and asking, why didn't I think of that, bit like me, well, now's your chance. You've downloaded your free 1-month trial, hopefully, from Adobe Stock, and you can start playing around with the assets. There's all sorts on there. There's photos, videos, illustrations, vectors, 3D assets, you name it, it's there. And you can find the link down below in the comments. Just have a browse. You can pick a few and see what you come up with. And we want to see what you come up with. We'd love to see what you come up with. So give it a go, and don't forget to share your creations with us using the hashtag Adobe Stock Remix. And thanks again to everyone who tuned in. If you're anything like me and probably feeling seriously inspired by people like Kyle and Lucy and Ron, take up the Remix Challenge. And I hope You've also picked up a few tricks along the way, like myself, and you incorporate that into your own workflow, and you appreciate then the power of Adobe Stock. Before we leave you tonight, I just want to announce the winner of the contest that we've been running. So drum roll, please. Do you want to do it with me, guys? Drum roll, please. And the winner is Phil Elson. So congratulations, Phil, you are the winner. If you send us a DM with your contact details, we will be in touch. So you'll be getting a Adobe Creative Cloud license and free access to Adobe Stock for a whole year, which is fantastic. And I'm sure that you'll use it to create some amazing stuff and share that with us on social media. So that's all from us at Adobe. Thanks so much for watching and have a good night, guys.